So I found out that one of my mentors loves to go on morning hikes. And so I just asked him, hey, I know you're really busy, but how about I meet you at the Mount Sanitas trailhead and we'll go hiking tomorrow at, say, 7:30. And he's like, that's funny. That's where and what time I usually go hiking. And I'm like, perfect, I'll meet you there. My name is Justin Gold. I'm the founder of Justin's Nut Butter in Boulder, Colorado. It started with my childhood. So my mom was really into natural and organic foods when natural and organic foods were really just odd and they didn't taste very good. During that whole process, I became a vegetarian and really became environmentally conscious.
My name is Walter Zaprin, and I'm a sales manager at Justin's Nut Butter.
My name is Liz, and I do operations for Justin's Nut Butter.
Just putting as much peanut butter in people's mouths as humanly possible.
I went to college and I studied environmental law. I go to law school. Law school is extremely boring. You're in libraries all day long researching briefs. I dropped out of my LSAT course and moved around the country until I found Colorado.
Justin's really able to push his product through, and it's so unique, and just seeing the look on people's faces when they try it.
He's always creative, always thinking of new things, and that's an important mindset to have.
He's always thinking, he's always innovating, he's always trying to be one step ahead of everyone else.
He's just a small town boy from Pennsylvania, came out to Colorado to ski.
And I'm mountain biking, and I'm hiking, and I'm skiing, and I'm backpacking, and I'm having the time of my life, and I'm still a vegetarian. And I'm eating so much peanut butter for protein, like right out of the jar, that I became really frustrated with the lack of great tasting peanut butter.
We bring it through a heat exchanger.
At the time, there's only two types of peanut butter. There was smooth and there was crunchy, and that was it. I found out that peanut butter is really simple to make. You take peanuts, you put them in a food processor, and you turn it on. So I'm making my own products, and I would add blueberries and coconut and cinnamon, and I would make these cute little labels and put it in our cupboard, and my roommates started eating them all. It was such a hit with my roommates that I ended up taking it to the farmer's market. The farmer's market started to take off, and I went to one Whole Foods store and made friends with the buyer there and learned exactly what I needed in order to be even able to sell to Whole Foods. I had to figure out, how do you get a UPC? Where do you find glass? Where do I find the FDA food labeling law guidelines? Where does the net weight go? And how do I get USDA organic certified? And how do you figure out what your nutritional information is? It's really simple things now looking back, but when I first started, they seemed like insurmountable obstacles. And so once I figured out how to do all of that, I presented it to the Whole Foods buyer and he loved it. And I started from one store and I delivered it myself to 3 stores, and that moved into like 30 stores. And then it started to really kind of take off.
We moved here thinking this would be a good size for a while, and we are completely growing out of it already.
At the end of the day, I was a small company competing for, really competitive space, and I really didn't have anything to truly differentiate myself other than flavors. Then in 2006, while working for this backpacking store, I was mountain biking, and I really was craving a little shot of protein instead of a sugary gel. And at that point, I had this epiphany, I already make the best peanut butter in the world. How come nobody's putting peanut butter nut butters into squeeze packs? And then that's when things really started to get serious. And now, I need to buy, a squeeze pack machine that costs 6 figures. And, this $10,000 initial business is now just, been multiplied by 10. So I got to find investors, and I need to have a savvy business plan. And with this business plan, I need to have a team that's going to help me market this product. The team is the asset of the company. And investors, they don't invest in products. They don't necessarily invest in personalities. They invest in the team. Boulder, Colorado is a town of about 100,000 people. It's the home of Celestial Seasonings, the home of Silk and White Wave soy milk, Izzy Soda. So there's a lot of people here who have so much natural foods experience where it was very easy for me to find a mentor. And mentorship, in my humble opinion, is the only reason why I'm able to be where I am right now with my business.
I invented this manufacturing process. Nobody has ever made peanut butter like this before.
when I first started, I was making peanut butter with a food processor. And so I call up a mentor and I'm like, how do I bring this into the grocery food store? And he's like, well, do what everybody else does, find a co-packer, have somebody make it for you. There aren't that many manufacturers out there. It's really a small industry. And so I called up a few and I'm like, I've got these great ideas. I take peanut butter and I add honey to it and then I add maple syrup to it. And they're like, oh no, we can't make that. We can't do that. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't do that? Well, the type of equipment we use, we have these big industrial stone mill grinders, and if you introduce something like honey or maple syrup, it'll burn out the machines. And I'm just like, well, how come I can make this at home with my rinky-dink food processor and you guys are this professional industrial facility and you can't do that? Well, it just can't be done. And so instead of buying a $50,000 piece of equipment that everybody else had, I tried to think, all right, well, let's think in terms of food processing. And so I went out and I found, the oldest food processors that were industrial that I could find that were way cheaper than a peanut butter mill and got them to work. In our factory, the way you see ingredients kind of coming down, I hand built that whole assembly. It's a bunch of machines that do not belong together, that are all working together because we had funding limitations. And we built this tower where things just kind of like fall into each other and the end result is the perfect peanut butter. And it all has to do with being resourceful. And so at that point, I found the equipment, I wrote a business plan, and raised the money from local investors. When we launched the peanut butter and almond butter squeeze pack, our company just kind of exploded overnight. The squeeze packs were in Whole Foods nationwide, they were in coffee retailers nationwide, REI nationwide, and then that's when I knew I really had something.